Hello everyone and welcome to my October raid stream, Spoils of War. Let's go ahead and get things started. Hello to everyone in YouTube chat. Thank you all for being here early. We're going to go ahead and see what this raid is all about. So I'm in my base here, and we're just going to have a quick look through the targets just so we know what's what, and then we're going to go out and hit some things. If you're watching this video later, great, keep watching. There's going to be a bunch of useful information. So, as you can see here, we have this new level 901 target. This is designed to be hit with both the Scoundrel and the Dragoons. So, I've even heard that Kixeye was testing it using 1 Scoundrel flag and 4 Dragoon backfleet just to go ahead and get that out of the way. It's designed as a co-op target, but you might also be able to use just one of your own fleets, 4 Dragoons back, 1 Scoundrel in front. The other targets are the 124 and the 126. If I remember correctly, the 124 is one that Kixeye said will be auto-friendly and be able to do those without any of the Mercury throwers. So that's a great option for people. And the 126 is again going to be a similar high-level target. These 126, 124 have replaced the 122 and 120 from last raid. Then we have the A targets also. I believe there's no change there from last raid. What's interesting is the Tyrant Cannon siege shards, because I still need some of those on my ships. And then the 64, 62, 42, 40 are the same as last time. Now, keep in mind there is a big bonus set here for completing the top tier, including the 900. So you do also get something for doing just the 124, 126, but if you can also do the 901, you get even more. So let's go ahead and hit some targets. I'm going to start out with my Silverfish, just so we can start at a slightly lower level and increase a little bit higher. I already have videos from the 64, 62, and the 40, 42 from last raid. So let's go ahead and see what kind of targets we can hit if they're on the map. Looks like, yep, they are. So these Scourge apiaries are the thing that we want to get. And I'm looking for a level 84 and level 82, maybe an 800 also. This is the A set target, and this is an option. I did a lot of this last raid. There's none currently on the map, so we might have to try something else and wait for them to spawn. Looks like A set targets aren't properly spawning at the beginning of the raid, or I have to wait a minute or two, maybe they're on a 15-minute staggered spawn schedule. So I guess I'll bring out my Dragoon fleet then, and we're going to... I can show you the build after I hit the base, after I hit all the stuff. But let's take my Dragoon fleet out, go find a 124, and give it a spin. Now keep in mind this is not fully finished. Speeds are a little bit iffy. There's some. My 5th ship is slower than my others. I'm working on getting that all sorted. So that's a sneak peek. Like I said, we're first going to go in with my Silverfish. Looks like 84s, 82s have spawned already. Let's start out with an 82 because that makes sense numerically, and that would just work out slightly better. So let's see. This target is going to end up paying out 80,000 points, and it's part of a set bonus. But for that set bonus, you need the 800. Now you can do the 800 without the suppressor, even though it is recommended. I'll show you that too. But you can do the. So I'm going to go ahead and show the 82, then the 84, then the 800. After we finish with our silver fleet, we're going to Silverfish. I'm going to go ahead and get into the Ironclad Dragoon fleet. So keep watching, stick around for that. Okay. I'm going to go on the target. It looks to be visually the same as last raid. I'm going to move far away from this little channel back here so don't get caught. Now, this is a decent option for people. I was able to ground out, and I got the top prize, the Scoundrel, last raid from hitting mainly these, at least when my ships would repair, because I didn't coin any points at all last raid. Okay. Now, you want to try and move away from these. This is not going to end up being perfect low damage, because I am recording and focusing on about 3 things at once. And I believe last raid I was getting this about an hour damage for the 84 and the 82 targets. Now, as far as the other targets in the raid, the 64 and 62, those are eradicators. You want eradicators and or shrikes will work in those. And last raid I just used eradicators in both of them, and I got instant repair in my base for those ones. And in the 40s and 42s, you can hit them with almost anything. It's instant repair with one bat ray, one razor tail. Even apex hunters or fangtooths can do those targets on auto instant repair. I believe at least last raid that's how it worked. So some players, including myself a little bit last raid, were grinding out hitting the 40s low targets. Now, it's not the best way to do the raid, and it may not even work this one, but that is an option for people if you want to. Hitting the level 80s like I'm doing for players who don't have the top siege holes, it is a valid way to work, and you're going to take damage, but you're going to have more fun and be playing for less time than if you were grinding around the 40s. I think I saw someone in chat brought up that, yeah, that the 40 set could be instead with bats. Yeah, you can split up your fleet, and that will work pretty well. So, if anything, I'm doing better than last raid with this target. I think I fully finished my silverfish fleet and refitted a couple things on here. Half my ships didn't have 2 armors, so I added those on. So that should work a little bit better. So level 82, no surprise. I'll do the 84 next, and then we'll get into the really exciting stuff. And my fleet here, I think it's close to fully ranked, but it isn't actually fully ranked. We had some tokens or something in one of the TLCs that I used to rank up my ships. Okay, looks about 1/8 of the fleet damage. I'm guessing just under an hour of repair, and we'll see what we have. But most of the damage here was from explosive, so I'll have to worry about that. Okay, so we have 50 minutes of damage from the level 82. That seems about right to me. Maybe some players can complete it for instant repair, but this is probably one of my best runs. I'm not paying too much attention to driving, but that's how it is. Okay, we're now going to hit the level 84 without repairing, so just keep that in mind. I haven't repaired since I hit the first target, so if I take more damage, it's not because it targets harder, it's because I already have things on the... It's not because I already have repair on these targets. Repair on the ships, rather. So for the level 84, you want to start out moving through the channel towards everything else, because they're going to turn around. These 2 big groups protected by the gluttonies are going to turn around and start coming at you. You want to try to get out of the channel if you can. Now they're going to start firing mortars at you, so you need to move sideways and get out away from them. The first targets to come up here, I think these are called stonefish if I remember. They will stay submerged for a little while until they get close, and they've been there for a while, at least with the CICs I have on my fleet. So killing them is a little bit harder. And I'm going to try and sneak around and kill the gluttony, see if I can't get any damage off of that. Because that's going to end up healing some ships. Now, if I kill these small kill the small dagger-tooth ships, the goblin sharks go into overload, start running toward me. So if you can prioritize the goblin sharks, you can do that. And I would recommend trying for that. This is kind of confusing because some assault targets, including I believe next cycle, are supposed to be Scourge and will have Scourge targets, while also some skirmish targets here are also fall under the Scourge banner. So just because you see Scourge doesn't mean it's assault or skirmish. And if you want to check what fleet you should be using in any of these targets, other than just videos, the recommended holes Kixeye has are actually pretty valid and are fairly good. Sometimes they're not entirely the truth, but these ones in this case work. Now, in the forum briefing, I did notice it said recommended for the 40 and 42. I think it just wasn't edited. The forum briefing said, quote, any seaworthy ship for the 40 and 42. That's not true. You need what it says in actual in-game. You need to have a skirmish fleet. Apex Hunters, Bat Rays, Fangtooths, at least if it's the same as last raid. So that was the level 84 target. Took some more damage on that one, and we have 2 hours and 18 minutes total. So that's going to be about an hour and 20 minutes damage on just that one target. But that's not bad. That's a fairly low amount of repair for a fleet that's not entirely well built. And also, in chat, Looks like Janice said, why don't I drive better and go around the islands? That's a great tip. I wasn't doing that. I wasn't driving that precisely because I couldn't afford to. I'm paying attention to a bunch of things. So if you can drive better than I can, then you're going to get better results. Let's transition now into our level 124. This is the new target. No one's seen this yet. This is a first look type thing. I haven't seen this target. It's only been 13 minutes since raid, so I'm going to hit this and see what happens. I don't expect my best driving of the entire raid to come on my first hit. I'm going to have better driving when I make a video on my channel later, which I'll post and will have, I assume, a lower damage. So let's look around the target first. We have, it looks to be fairly symmetrical, so it looks like a maze, it's a path. All these yellow things, don't worry about that. That's the calves it will service you if you try to bring a submarine in here. Just to make sure that we can only hit these with the Iron Claw Dragoons. Although some people did have luck last raid with Eradicators heavily refitted in these targets. But don't worry about the yellow things. Now, this is the auto-friendly target, so there are none of the mercury throwers, those big things that split out a bunch of radioactive damage. There are none of these in this target. Instead, we have these very short-range Tempest launchers, as well as the moderate-range Wendigo launchers and the UAVs, the P-shooter UAVs. Now, the Wendigo ended up doing radioactive damage, and if I remember correctly, the ballistic UAV, the UAV did ballistic damage. You'll notice that I start to move my fleet around. They're not the same speed. That will get fixed when I add in ballistic sync drive as my last special instead of speed system 6, because everything will match the speed. So it's not quite set up 100% correctly yet. I have tokens from Pillage that I'm going to use after I get enough Tyrant Siege Cannon shards. Yeah, I think, let's see, we have someone in chat. Troy said no throwers. Yep, this is the auto-friendly target. You don't have to worry about that as much. So the tactic for me is I'm going to be going slowly and trying hitting one thing at a time, engaging only one turret at once, trying to get as few things shooting at me as possible. So I think I'm going to move on over to the left side here. Remember, you can't shoot over mountains, but I think I can get these turrets over here. Mountain terrain will end up blocking me. Apparently it doesn't block the UAVs. Let's see if I can't get any shots off here. No, looks like I can't. You can't sneak around the edges on this one. So let's reset, go back out in the middle, and take some things out. I'm going to try and prioritize the UAV so I don't get swarmed, as well as the Wendigos, because those are the things that are actually going to be dealing damage to me. I'm going to pick a side, I'm going to pick left, I'm going to move over here and kill all these things away from the right side, just so I can take less damage. Now, it would be a good idea to keep moving the entire time, because there are some radioactive turrets here. The Wendigos are an area of effect. They'll hit where you were, not where you are. So if you can keep moving the entire time and you have that whole speed bonus, then that will help. Now, one big drawback of my fleet setup, how it currently is that my ships don't match speed. So my number 5 ship is dragging behind my first ones. So it ends up taking extra splash damage already, it's looking like. Actually, number 4 is taking a lot more damage. And I have 2 through 4 built all the same. Let's see, we have the small setup on the right side that I can't get through. Yes, I do have sprints on my fleet, and that's what my ship number 5 is. It's got sprints and 2 full countermeasure setups. I'll go over the build later after these 2 targets. But I do have sprints on here, and it looks like they're firing. There was a lot of math done whether sprints or gales would be better. We ended up settling on sprints generally as a community because the projectile speed was higher on those. So that helped out a lot. Because the projectile speed's higher, the UAVs come at a very high rate of speed. So if you're using gales, they might get to your ship before the gales had a chance to shoot them down whatsoever at all. So we've killed this entire right side. I think I'm going to go over towards the left and see what I can kill there. Yes, we have in chat saying that stop moving is not the best, but I've had to been doing some of that because my ships are not all the same speed, so I have to recollect a little bit. You can see that my number 5 ship here, at least at this rate, is dragging behind considerably. Moving around is going to help, and if you're moving around, spinning around, doing some damage, and retreating, you're going to be in range for a short period of time, while also taking less damage from the area of effect because you're moving. I can fully test that later, and after I refit, things will be easier, but moving around will help. The other thing is I only really want to hit one target at a time, so or each target, I only want to drive by once. Each turret, I should only have to engage one time, so your damage should be high enough to kill each turret at one time. Now I can stop here because there's no thing shooting at me, and there's no Wendigos left in this target, so going slow from this point should be okay. Again, these targets, the small tempests, you don't want to drive into them, but if you just stay at range, you'll be fine. So if I try and hit the spreads from distance, then I'll be good. Or hit the pea shooter targets, pea shooter UAVs. I do have the special weapon on my my Ironclaw Dragoon, and that I can't tell how much that's doing. I can see the big blue shots from the pack launchers, but I can't see much else. And yes, I am planning on refitting ballistic sync drives onto all my holes. Currently, it's on none of them, but I'm going to end up refitting for that. I have tokens for that from Pillage. I'm going to use those. Okay, battle report. Looks like about a little bit more of our damage taken was from radioactive. So that's something that moving while hitting the target will help. And a little bit less was ballistic, and that's from, I believe, only in this target. From what I've been told and what I've read on forums, is the ballistic damage is only from UAVs. And of course, all the damage I did was ballistic. So the total repair on that is 1 hour and 46 minutes. That is not sustainable, and that's not good. I want something lower, minimum 1 hour, hopefully better than that for repair. Now, this was my first hit, and you'll see that ship number 4 here took a ton more damage. It's built the same. I have no idea why it did that, but it did take more damage. If we cut those all down to the same amount, and I drive better and keep moving, then I want to be able to drop that down to at least below 2. Now, I'm going to spend 4 points here to speed it up, so I can go ahead and hit the level 126, the other new target. Now, the 126 is going to be harder than the 124, at least that's my guess, because there are the throwers in the level 126 targets. At least from what Kixeye has said on forums. So if we can find a level 126, go and hit that. As far as my thoughts on the 124, it seems fairly balanced, but what I don't like is there's no easy, obvious way to reduce damage. You're going to take a small amount of damage from every single engagement, so that way there's no large painful jolt when you take damage, take a large amount, but you're ending up the target with damage. Okay. We're going to move into the corner before we start out with this with. And yes, a lot of people are saying in chat that one ship does get targeted more than others. That's something that I'm aware of, and I'm not really a super big fan of that, but when ships are stacked, they end up taking damage, and things end up being priority targeted in weird ways. I wish it was all just area of effect and would randomly split up things so everything would have a random amount of damage. That would make most sense to me as a designer. I don't like having spread everything out. Let's focus on the 126 target now. These big yellow things are the mercury throwers. Those are ones that are on a timer. They all go at once. You want to avoid that. You have to plan out a path to go through and hide in the little alcoves. Same other turrets as the other ones. So I think if I go over, I can kill this first turret here without being killed at all. And then I can circle over and hit that Wendigo at the same time. Almost got it. Okay, so we're trying moving on that one. There we go, looks like that worked. Now if I want to kill the UAV, I need to go back in there. But also kill the Wendigo turret at the same time. So we're going to move around to the right, left, UAV. And it's okay to stop now because the Wendigo's dead. Then it can kill these little buildings. After that is the mercury throwers. I don't want to go very close because when that orange turns back on, it's going to kill me. But after this one finishes, I'm going to shoot these two, and cool, we got those ones. Now, there are other ones in this target here, but I should be able to move over to the right, kill the UAV. I want to prioritize the Wendigo here, not the other random one. Kill that one. Come on. The mountain range is just in the wrong space, so I'm having some tricky. There we go. Okay, let's retreat back out of there so things stop firing at us before we go back in. Now, looks like you can take a path on the right or the path on the left. I'm sure one of them will end up being lower damage or easier or harder than the others, but for now, I think I'm just going to pick right. So one of these is firing off time with the others. So I'm going to move around back and keep circling. And next time that orange, the mercury thrower, turns on, I'm going to run through the channel. Okay, we're going to run through the channel, so we're already at speed and we can go through. And we need someplace safe to hide away from that one. Okay, looks like we're in the corner here. We're good. Oh, I just took some damage there. I just got hit a little bit by this one. So you want to stop at a lot of opportunities, it looks like, but if you stop, you're going to get hit by Wendigo. So this is a skilled target. This is a heavily skilled target, and it's going to take a while to perfect. Okay, we're moving through. I think that's safe if I stop right here, and I killed that, so I'm good. Generally speaking, alcoves are safe. Now let's stop and plan my next move. It's still trying to shoot it over these mountains, but it's not going to let me. We have a bunch on the left here. Nothing's shooting at me down here. I should be able to kill Mercury Thrower 1, Pea Shooter 1, and UAV perfectly fine. So let's drop in, circle around bottom, and head up towards the top. And I'm prioritizing the one that's actually going to hit me, which in this case is the UAV. And we're going to stop. Oh, I think I might have moved in front of that before I finished killing that. Might have taken a little bit extra damage there, too. What's next? We have this Mercury Thrower protecting the outlet, so I'm going to move into that because it stopped firing. Prioritizing the Wendigos because those hit me when I've stopped, and I would like to stop here. Okay, Wendigo is down. Okay. Find someplace okay to stop and move through the rest of the target here. So we have, these are all facing the wrong direction, it looks like. There's none coming directly at me. So if I move up through here, I only have those two left. I'm going to head down the channel and clear things towards the bottom. I need to shoot the Tempest because I need to be moving through that, and I don't want it to kill me while I'm moving through. Because those are short range and they fire another area of effect, so if you're moving really fast, you can mitigate some damage, but not all of it. I have to stop before this turret turns on, and I'm taking damage from the Wendigos now because they stopped for the Mercury. So timing could be a little bit better on that. Other than that, it seems okay. I'm turning around here, which is going to end up taking extra damage. Because I'm turning around means stopping, I'm getting hit more by those Wendigos. In theory, if your UAVs shoot down, if your sprint shoot down most UAVs, you should be pretty good to go. Because then the only thing you have to worry about is moving and not getting hit. So that target seems very tricky to me. I don't know that the general player base likes figuring out puzzles. As you can see, 67% of what I took, or no, about that, maybe 3/4 of the damage that I took was radioactive, and that means it's from either the Mercury Throwers or the Wendigos, and both of those are examples of bad timing. So this target in general seems tricky to me. If I were the design team, which I'm not, This seems a little bit too complicated, but again, this was my first hit. I'm sure it will get easier as I keep hitting this, and I'll post videos and make a path so that other people can go through and hit similar things. The community in this game is good at sharing things and getting everything out for the general PvE aspect. So that looked doable to me. 2.5 hours of damage is five coins. So that looks pretty tricky there. So we have a couple messages in chat. I have someone saying they have 2 sprints on each ship. That's Troy. I have 5 on just one with 2 specials. So I think mine have been effective enough. So I think you might be okay. Although I'm going to recommend the one I went with, stacking 1 ship up. Now, the driving here is not going to be the best. I'll just be honest about that. I'm not perfect driving. I haven't seen these targets before. I'm just going out and hitting these for essentially the first time. What I've got now is I'm going to try and use my Dragoons behind my Scoundrel in the level 900 target. And that's the big one, that's the fancy one, that's the one that's going to be difficult. So, if I end up dying, I end up dying. It's the one that's recommended co-op 2 players, 2 fleets. But let's see if I can get the hang of this here. I have fleet repair tokens for when we crashed, and I kind of just want to leave 9 minutes on that last one, honestly. Or I can. Where's my flagship? If I spend 1 more coin, that's 5 coins total. That's not a lot. I'm down to 4 after I finish this, though, so we're not going to have much of this raid at all. Where's my Ironclad Dragoon? I want to repair this, or start things getting repaired, so I can show you the last target here. Now, I will be going over my build in a separate video and all of those fun things, and those will be posted to my channel. I'm sure you all know how to find that. Go to YouTube, search Derby the Cow, and that will get you there. But now it's time for the 900 target. And hopefully my videos later will show you how to actually drive this and not how to drive it incorrectly and take extra damage. Okay, I have 1 Scoundrel, which is not fully ranked, followed by 4 Ironclad Dragoons, which are not quite fully built. Warning, attack at your own risk. You know what this means in Kixeye language? It means you're about to lose your fleet. So, be careful for that. Good luck, thank you. I'm trying. Now this is one of the most interesting targets I'm going to expect because it has a new weapon here that I actually haven't hit in game at all yet, even last raid. It's got the new Pluto cannon, which was featured last raid, and that's the thing you want to use the Scoundrel to avoid. It's this orange one that it stuns you and it hurts. Now you want to use the Scoundrel, I believe, because it can go fast and maybe has some other resistances. So I want to try and use the Scoundrel against the Pluto cannons. But for at least a decent portion of the target, my 4 front ships should be okay. Let's see if when they're all sped up, they're matching speed at all. Or if my Scoundrel is just way faster than everybody. It looks like I can't drive stack too well, especially because I have shorter range. So let's take my back 5 ships and go prep out a couple things in the target. Because this is recommended for a 2 fleets thing, I don't think that just my Scoundrel can go through everything. Now I am doing noticeably less damage. Someone commented on YouTube that I had a lot higher damage on the target, had enough damage on the targets last time. Without my flagship, I'm having lower damage, and so it's a bit harder for me to kill all these turrets in the same amount of time. So I just wanted to try and kill the Wendigos UAVs and Tempest with my Dragoons and the Pluto cannon with my Scoundrel. I think is the general idea. I think that's the best practice for this target. We're gonna retreat by just move back and then stack back up and stop. Wait for my acceleration to reset and then head back in. The Pluto cannon, so looks like I can kill up to this pea shooter and that's it. I almost just made a mistake. So now we need to bring in our Scoundrel for that top bit there. Oh, that's something Janice was pointing out in YouTube chat. There is no retreat button for this target. So if you're in here, you're in here. What do I want to? What's the best approach for this? Do I just want to run through the channel, or do I want to try and stop? I want to time the mercury throwers, but oh, I'm already overloading. So after this mercury thrower, I think I'm just going to run through and stop back here. Here we go. And it's trying to stun me, but I've got stun resistance. Okay. We're through that one. Oh, I just got... Okay, that's what happened. Just lost my scoundrel. I got hit by the thrower there. That hurts. Well, that's what you should not do. You should not get obliterated like that. So this target is looking very tricky, honestly. And I don't know if I'll end up completing it. But the radioactive mercury throwers are something that I've just demonstrated. It's clearly important that you time well, because otherwise you will lose your entire ship. So the scoundrel seems tricky to use, but it seems highly effective against the Pluto cannon, which is what it's designed for, although it is very tricky. Oh, I almost just got hit. I got hit by a little bit of mercury again. You think I've learned my lesson. Apparently I have a hard time focusing enough to do that well. So after this next mercury blast, I'm going to run in and kill this. And maybe this will prep out the target a little bit for somebody. But I think it's going to be easier if you have... it's going to be a lot easier for this raid if you have two players in here. Maybe one who has the scoundrel and one who has dragoons. Or maybe you both go with your dragoon fleets, although you can't retreat. So I think one player has to go with dragoons and one has to go with scoundrels. This is going to be a team effort from what I can tell. I think I'm going to go ahead and exit out of this target because I'm not sure I'm going to be able to show much more from here. Like Tor said in chat, it's going to take a lot of hits to end up... and it's going to take a lot of hits to perfect everything. Now, Janice is saying in chat that pinches work if you don't have a scoundrel. So yes, you can pinch each turret, but guess what? Because I thought of that. There's no retreat button, which means every time you want to hit a target and every time you want to hit something, it's going to take the entire timer at 15 minutes at least for every pinch. So they're still allowing one pinch per target, but it's going to be, considering you can't retreat, it's going to be tough. And there's no way to end up taking a gunboat and pinching something or anything at all. So you can use multiple pinches, but it's going to take you a couple hours for each target without the scoundrel. So level 900 target, very tough. They made it extremely hard, and it's going to end up being difficult. The target, I don't think the target resets. I think by the time expires, you're kicked back out, and you can go back in again. I'm not sure when they despawn. Don't quote me on that one, but let's see. So I haven't shown you the level 800. I might be able to do that, or I can go through my build. Which would people prefer in YouTube chat? Would you prefer one more target or going over my build for the Dragoon? Because right now my ships are stuck in battle, and I can't do anything about that. I think I'm going to go ahead and show the build rather than one more target. And then I'll go over prizes in another video and strategy and all that. So my build, this is an exciting thing. I'm going to show my Ironclad Dragoon because that's in my dock right now. Actually, I can go to Shipyard and show off my build. So this is an important bit. So if you watch till the end of here, congratulations, you played it smart, and you get the important reward. So this is my normal Dragoon build right now. It's got Speed System 6, although that's going to be replaced with Ballistic Sync Drive, and that's going to help with matching speed. Now, Ballistic Battery is standard. It's just a beneficial one that increases damage while damage turret defense. It's really good in siege targets. Fast Feed Magazine, it came with this. That helps increase ballistic critical chance, which pairs nicely with another special, and also helps reload. So it increases your damage by a lot. while not increasing defense at all. Nuclear accelerators, the biggest part here is 1 combat speed and 2 ballistic range 50%, as well as some smaller damage projectile speed buffs. Welded barrel system, while it came with the Eradicator, pairs nicely, synergizes nicely with fast feed magazine by adding critical damage and critical chance, as well as more projectile and more combat speed. And then high velocity rounds I have for ballistic damage and the huge projectile speed buff to help kill things faster. As far as weapons, I have 5 henchman cannons and 1 tyrant. I don't have any tyrants on right now. I need to hit some 800s to get some tyrant shards to finish putting all those on, as well as all my sync drives. This Speed System 6 is going to be sync drive instead. Now, I also have my 5th ship is set up differently. It is my countermeasure Dragoon. And this is very similar setup, but instead of welded barrel system, I have hydroatomizer nozzle, which increases countermeasures, so only sprints. Countermeasures are different from anti-mortars and anti-missiles, but this helps increase for the sprint range and reload. And subaquatic propellant also increases the sprint's projectile speed and reload. Hydroatomizer nozzle is a limited special, but it is regarded as the best countermeasure special in the game. They had an offer out for this for $3 for 2 of them and like 30 gold or something, which is them telling us you should get this. I have 1 weapon on here just for if I want to auto or whatever else, it will go with it, and 5 sprints. I think that's enough. Armors are the 25 million from Forsaken Mission, 2 Z1Rs, 2 Z1Cs, and this is going to have a ballistic sync drive. It does not yet. As far as that's an important point. The Toastman saying in chat, no CL4. CL4, if I were to show you, only adds about 1,500 radioactive and ballistic survival. And if I go to my ship, I've got 14,000. So adding 1,500 to 14,000 is an increase of about 10%. So I would much rather spend my last special on something else. My Ironclad Dragoon is, let's see how if I can load that from here. Yeah, so I've got this is what it's going to end up looking like. I'm going to have 3 tyrants, 2 henchmen. That's for weight, as well as damage is a little bit higher on the tyrant because it's limited and the weight is lower. Same specials as the regular dragoons, and then I have 2 launcher pack cannons here. Those are heavy weapons only, and they're going to help kill things faster. So that was most of my raid startup livestream here. As far as videos, I'm going to be releasing later. I want to release a video for every target. That's going to be the 40, the 42 are already posted from last raid, so I don't think I'll post those again. The 62 and 64, again, I already did that last raid. I'll revisit those, see if anything's changed, but I probably won't post again. The level 80, 82, and 900, again, I already have them from last year. From last raid, rather. Now I'm going to try and hit multiple things and get everything down on the level 124 and 126. New targets, I'll post a video of those 2. So 124, 126 videos happening. 900 video, maybe solo, maybe with someone else. That should happen as well. And then other generic videos, I'm going to be doing a fleet spotlight. I like to call those, going over my finished Dragoon. And so that should help out with that. Finished Dragoon Fleet Spotlight. That's going to be a popular one. Another one I'm going to try and do is a raid cycle strategy advice, breaking down all the turrets and all the targets, what kind of damage they do, how you can avoid them, what countermeasures are best. So a how to kill siege targets, skirt or legion barracks, whatever they're called in the current one. That's going to be another big one to keep an eye out for, as well as a raid prize advice. So a bunch of videos on targets, 1 on strategy, 1 on raid prize advice, and 1 on my fleet spotlight. I can take a couple more questions from chat, and then I have to end this and move on. Big Texas Roller is asking if I'm going to do a video on the 800. If I don't have one from last raid, then I will. If I've already got one, then I'm just going to stick with the one from last raid. you can just search Bronze Raid level 800, and my video, I'm sure, will come up. Now we have Janice in chat says that U3s also give 10k survival. That's true. I think I've got up to, I think I'm only at U1 on most of my ships. Maybe my Ironclad is up to U3. And Battlebeak is saying, any good base designs for Outpost 11? I'm the wrong person to ask. As you can see my base, I don't have a guard fleet, and I'm still running Halos and Javelins. It's starting to change. I'm getting better. I'm going to start hitting some things. The new prizes are going to be great. At least for base defense wise, because they're going to help stop some of the newer holes in your base if you build them right, is the idea. And then as far as the new assault one, because next raid is assault, I'm going to make another video how to build a Pegasus, my initial thoughts. SpongeBob, yep, my fleet should be out of battle by now. I'll check. But I got places to go. So thank you everybody so much for joining me in my fleet, in my raid warm-up live stream. I hope this video helped you. If it did, please go out and subscribe to my channel. Wherever you're watching right now, you can exit out of the chat, click subscribe, and start watching. If you think this video, like I said, was helpful, other videos I make will be too, so you can enjoy those also. Now, as far as this video, you can just go ahead and click the like button. If you say thank you in chat, whatever else, leave a comment if you're watching this later on Facebook. You can post this to other sectors, your alliances in other worlds, because raid hasn't started yet for them. So if this video was helpful, if you think seeing the targets would be helpful for them, you can share it with them. Anyway, as always, this is Derpy signing out, helping you be a better pirate.